We live. People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Good morning to those of you in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. If you're somewhere else in this world, I hope you're all doing well and safe. Hope you've all had a week to remember. Hope you've all, moved that much closer to achieving your goals, hopes, and aspirations. Please make sure you're hitting the like button as you enter, people. Check out the live message. I'm not, I have to be shameless these days with promoting content. It is the Euro, so there's hella content to come. Obviously, tomorrow, as you can see here, will be England versus Croatia, or better yet, I'll be doing a watch along for that. My next live bit of content after this, people, will be Wales versus Switzerland, which, if I remember correctly, is here. Which, again, everything is in the pinned message, but I'm dropping the links for you guys. And obviously, this evening ends with Belgium versus Russia, so there's no rest for the wicked, people. Content is coming fast and safe. But until then, we've got to speak about some Arsenal stuff, people. We're going to get into it. You got Locatelli, you've got whatever that is. You got a couple bits and pieces. Tierney allegedly signing a new contract and all of those things. So it's decent, man. It's very decent, but we'll get into all of that in a sec. Let me let you lot filter in, people. What are you guys saying? Also, to be shameless, big up to everyone who's been going and getting their DG merchandise. Make sure you go and get it, people. Something for everybody there. We've got hoodies, mugs, T-shirts. I think, speaking to the person who deals with this sort of stuff for me, there's fanny packs, there's pouches, there's water bottles for the water bottle people. So, all your summer needs, even if you want a bloody face mask, it's all there, people. So, do up that, man. Hella links have been dropped in there. I'm looking like I'm spamming. Like you said, shameless plug FC. Omar, you got to be shameless. If you don't promote yourself, who the hell in this world is? Alpha said, big up DG, but Ben White replaces prospect Saliba, Gabriel, waste of 70 million. Sheesh. We're going to get into all of that, man. We're going to get into all of that. As I said, though, make sure you're hitting the like button. Shout out to the members, subscribers, long-term supporters, new recruits to this channel. I appreciate everybody who's locked in. Obviously, the members, the Twitch gang, you're always appreciated as well. So I hope everyone's well and safe. I'm sure a lot of you watched England. I said England, you can't watch that till Sunday. Italy versus Turkey. Commiserations to Turkish fans. Congratulations to Italy, 3-0. Not too much to read if you was looking at people who have been linked with Arsenal. Locatelli was all right. Hardly set the world alight. Obviously, Demiral scored an own goal, and there's a couple other bits and pieces, people. DG stream gone black. Nah, G, we're cool, my guy. I think that's a you problem, my guy. YouTube came through with a notification. Aye, man, I tell you lot, Deludaguna 187. Twitch never lets you down for the notifications. YouTube's hit and miss, Mr. Adlib, like you're seeing, man. What are you saying? Yes, bro, hope you're good. Currently walking down Holloway Road. You know the vibes. Hey, big up to you lot. Travis has said, yo, DG, the wise one. Travis, I don't know if I'm wise. I'm just a man who loves football like you lot and just happens to have my face out there. And I'm lucky enough to have a decent community with you guys. In fact, let me not say decent, a world-class community with you guys that support me, that come and provide good talking points and just ultimately, share my love for football, whether it's Arsenal, the young players, things irrelevant from Arsenal, all of these sort of things, people. Edward has said, big up DG, love the content. Ben White, would be a waste of money with the limited money we've got. Again, we're going to get into it. Mustafa, I hope you're good and safe, man. Live from Planet Expo. YouTube tried to do you dirty with that one. I don't know why it was giving you a blank screen with me, but good that you've got over that. Sarah, I hope you're good. CS, 6 a.m. workout. Got DG in my headphones while I hit the trail. Big up yourself, John. You've been in every live stream, I reckon, this week. And listen, that support means the world and things like that, man. Without you lot, like I said, what is the bloody point? And things like that. Do you see Arsenal playing a back three with Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel? Potentially, it is something that could be done. It could be done. YouTube late, as always. Big up DG. Come on, my guy. Keep the fire burning, DG. Groundhog guns. Appreciate that. Will do, my guy. That's all I can do. I appreciate the encouragement from you. Dapo said, what are you saying, DG? Been a minute since I caught a live. I'm good, man. Like I said, I'm always happy when I'm speaking to you guys because it could be worse. It could be worse. Like I could be speaking to myself. There could be no one here. But it's nice to know that you lot come support, offer your opinions, bring talking points and so on and so forth. And Yeah, man, I'm cool today, man. The next month is going to be crucial because I'm going to be pressed for time with this Euro stuff. You know, there's at least 2 watch-alongs a day. Like, what, there's 3 today. I'm not going to lie. I have to skip out one of them Euro games, people, because I'm not a machine. So, yeah, man, I'm ready for the challenge, man, that awaits, man. Make sure you're rising up the like button. Big up yourself, Byron. But we're 8 minutes in. Man said 8 minutes. That's how you know it's still early. We're 5 minutes and 13 seconds. I was going to wait till around 8 minutes to get into it, but we might as well get straight into it. What's the point wasting time? Let's go with Ben White, man. Let me know your opinions on Ben White throughout this, people. Let's get into Ben White. The pool would advance us, DG. Your thoughts, my guy. Go to my live stream yesterday. I spoke more in depth, but he's a quality player and would be a solid addition. It's as simple as that, man. Mustafa spoke about Korea yesterday as well, so hit up that live stream for that. I don't really want to go over the same things again. I'd take Ben White for 34, 40 million. It's an interesting one when you look at Ben White because I like him as a player. If you've been watching, obviously, this is an article out of The Athletic that I'm going to read to you lot in a second, people, that where I saw the interest in Ben White. Tell a lie, we've been linked with Ben White consistently when he was at Leeds doing his thing in the Championship. As someone that's seen him on loan at Newport, saw him at Leeds, I think he's equipped well at Brighton, but I don't think he set the world alight. You know, I don't think he set the world alight. I don't think he's been as good for Brighton as he was for Leeds. I think he's been a cool addition there. Critics would say, is he even the best defender at Brighton? Because obviously, I do think if Dunk was less glamorous and was a bit more glamorous and fitted the image of a modern day centre half, he probably would be in the England squad and deserves it. Obviously, when you see 50 million, it does concern me. Obviously, there's the English premium tax applied there, and I think we need a centre half. I've been very vocal on wanting a centre half, but 50 million when you're allegedly pressed for resources, and you know, Ben White might go on and become the outstanding candidate for club and country. He might become the centre half that's built around for England. He might become a top class centre half. I have no doubt about that. I like him. He's got a good mentality. He reads the game well. He's good on the ball. He can play right back, left back. Right back, defensive mid, and centre half. So obviously, I see a bit of that. As does Arteta see him as a premium Callum Chambers or something like that? But getting to the main point, he might very well be that player of tomorrow. But today he isn't that. So for me, if we're bringing in another centre half, as I've said, it doesn't matter if it's 50 million or it's 15. I think you need to go for one that is better than what we have, more experienced, better than what we have. Arguably, Ben White could be that, but is he significantly better? Are we going to sit here at this moment in time on the 12th of June, 2021 and say he's significantly better than Gabriel? He's significantly better than Saliba. He probably is at this moment in time ahead of Saliba in his development. Is he significantly? He's better than Holding and them man there for me, but is he significant? That's the key thing. So if we're not getting a significant better man that can improve us right now, what's the point? You know, the man he could be tomorrow is good. What, he's 23, 24. Gabriel's young, Saliba's young. These could be 3 great centre-half options to play with a back 3 or flirt between who runs it. I get it. But for me, I don't know if that's the case. Is he going to be a leader in that defence? Maybe. But I think if we're going for someone, let's get significantly better than what we have, whether that's for a big price tag or not. And also someone that I can convincingly say, you know what, I can see them in a partnership thriving with Gabriel and Saliba. I'm not saying that's the case for Ben White, but it's 2 young men leading young men. And what? This is his first, maybe second season in the Prem. He's still got to do his own things. And for me as well, it's not really Ben White's fault, but Ben White isn't the finished article. You've got Saliba and Gabriel. Saliba, again, 1 minute we hear his agent, he's told his agent he's staying at Arsenal. Arteta said he's staying and he said he's staying. But on the backdrop, you keep hearing about how he might go on loan to this club, Newcastle 1 week, back to France. Obviously, his future is evidently going to be impacted. But for me, what, you spent 20 odd on Gabriel and 30 on Saliba. Let's call it about 50 million a piece on these centre halves. And they're in the same sort of bracket for me with Ben White in that they're good players, but they just need to be polished up. We're not polishing what we have already or using them young centre halves. Why are we going to bring a next one? I'm all for it because I like Ben White. I think he could be a better Callum Chambers in that he's able to play everywhere and he'd be a centre half. He's obviously an England international. He's going to grow in that regards and grow in stature. He's good on the ball. There's the homegrown factor to speak about. He can play in a back 3 if needed. I like Ben White. I think 45, 50 million, I can't lie, for some of the centre halves we've been linked with, you know. Apparently, again, Paul Torres might go elsewhere, but didn't we hear Jules Condé is 50 million. I'd rather spend it on that, you know. Paul Torres of Villarreal, he's got the same price tag. I'd rather spend it on that. If we're going for 50 million for Ben White, I don't think it's there. There is legs to it because clearly we've been watching Ben White like a lot of teams for a while. But crucially, it's that ultimately it comes down to whether we like him or not. It comes down to another player that his current employers are in no rush to sell him. He's an increasing in assets. So if you want it, you have to be prepared to potentially overpay and all of those sort of things, people. I would welcome Ben White because I think he's a good player. But when I've considered all the variables I've just spoken about, it doesn't make sense. And then obviously you've got about 6-7 centre halves on the wage bills already. Like for me, if centre halves I'm using, if I'm Arteta, Mavropanos can come back for pre-season, but his future, at least temporarily, lies elsewhere. I'd look to send him back to Stuttgart in the Bundesliga, or if you can, send him to the Prem where you can see him at close lengths. But next season, and bearing in mind there's only 40 games, assuming we don't advance in the cup competitions and the 38 in the Premier League, people, make sure you're hitting the like button, all 130 of you. You know, you've got Marie who's going to play. Fair enough, he's a squad player, but you've got Marie. For me, Gabriel and Saliba should be playing. I think Holding's decent for the squad, so Holding would be there. I think Chambers has earned that. You know, if have I said Gabriel, I'm probably missing out a centre half. Probably Chambers. I think Chambers has earned it. I can't lie. If someone offers 20 million for Chambers, I might let him go because I think, you know, because he's going to need a new contract in a while, in a not too distant future, and he's been here a while. And you know, again, as much as I'm fond of Chambers and think he's done well, you know, I do think we could potentially, you know, I do. Chambers out, Ben White in, I wouldn't mind that. And obviously you sell Chambers for 20 or this guy's 50. It doesn't really translate, but you saved yourself a buck. Or maybe you can imagine, you know, Maitland-Niles, Chambers, Reece Nelson, all of these guys are probably going to be offered to Brighton as a make-weight, maybe even El Nene. I don't know. If we're getting anyone from Brighton for me, then it should be Mr. Basuma, but I don't know. Mr. Adlib is saying there's only 68 likes. People, fix up in that regards. What's going on there? Moving away from that, like you can tell, I'm full of admiration for Ben White. Pardon me. Let me zoom. Should I zoom out or is this cool for you guys, people? Because I'm conscious on you. Let me press the zoom out button. All right, cool. We'll leave it at that. This is the article copied and pasted from The Athletic, people. Sorry for that pause, people. Drank way more green tea there than I thought, man. Almost went down the wrong hole. But Brighton and Hove Albion defender Ben White has emerged as a concrete target for Arsenal this summer, and the North London side are believed to be preparing a move for the 23-year-old. There has so far been no contact between the two Premier League clubs, but that is expected to change in due course as Mikel Arteta seeks to bolster his squad ahead of the next season. So there's been no bid, there's been no official talk. So apart from wanting him, there's an issue. But for me, if you can't, there's shades of Buendia, you know. Buendia was bought from Villa because Villa identified their man and was prepared to get him and potentially prepared to, if not overpay through money, allow Norwich to have favourable clauses. You're going to have to do that with Ben White because if I'm Brighton, he's 23, he's been called up by England, he's been linked with Liverpool when he was at Leeds, he was linked with us, he's linked with Chelsea, he probably will move on from Brighton. I want a sell-on clause. He's 23. I don't care if you give me 50 million. I want a sell-on clause. So you're going to want a sell-on clause. I also want 50 million. And things like that. So again, you're gonna have to be prepared to overpay. Me personally, if we're bringing anyone from Brighton, I think it should be Basuma personally. I would like to pay half of that at this moment in time for Ben White, but again, football's gone illogical, and he's contracted until 2024, as you lot can see. Although White is under contract until 2024, there is thought to be an understanding that Brighton will not prevent his exit if the price is right. It could take a fee in the region of 40 to 50 million, which is unlikely to be insurmountable for Arsenal, while personal terms should not be an issue. Again, I don't know what that word means or if I've said it right, but again, you know, we should be able to find 40, 50 million. Whether it's best to allocate that to Ben White is another case. And you wouldn't imagine personal terms is an issue because we should be able to offer significantly better wages. Arteta is keen to secure a new right-sided centre-back. Obviously, we've lost David Luiz, which is why I think we need an experienced one. Could you have potentially gone down the cut price route? You know, how about working with a certain young right-sided centre-half you're bringing into the club as well, because you ain't really got much of a tune out of Gabriel. You know, Gabriel started strongly, you know, back-to-back player of the month, and then a mixture of suspension, COVID, injuries. There was form with other centre-halves, saw him out of it, and I haven't really seen Arteta work with any of the young players like that. Last season, I saw you bet on experience and they let you down. Hopefully, there's more of a change. In that regards, people, at least indirectly, Ben White could do at right back as well, and that could be a right back signing. It wouldn't be what I want, but it could be that. Arteta is keen to secure a new right-sided centre-back in the current transfer window, and having explored the possibility of recruiting Sevilla's Jules Koundé, Arsenal's focus has turned to White. Now, obviously, Jules wants Champions League football, where Arsenal cannot offer you that. Arsenal will not be his only suitor, but the speed of their pursuit appears to have given them a strong chance of securing a deal for a talent who would also add to their homegrown options. It is unclear what an arrival in that position would mean for William Saliba. It shouldn't mean anything. It shouldn't mean anything, because for me, primarily, Gabriel, Saliba, a new centre-half, they're my three that I'm building around. If Chambers, Holding, Marie, they get an opportunity and they take it, fair play. But I feel ideally it should be Gabriel and Saliba that we're trying to have as our centre-halves in the next 2-3 years. So next season, make it them. Try and make that your first choice partnership. Obviously, injuries, loss in form, calamitous moments, all of these things for young players are relevant. All players, but young players are relevant. So for me, this is why I'm saying bring in another centre-half, so that arguably doesn't have to be big money, but better and more experienced than Saliba and Gabriel. He can play as a right-sided centre-half, play with Gabriel, sorry. Saliba can play on the left as well, but pardon me, Saliba on the right, the more experienced man. And then obviously, when Saliba and Gabriel get a bit up to speed, you phase out that next man and make him third choice. And then he replaces Saliba in being third choice. Again, Saliba needs to get football. I'll be very annoyed if this club sell him, because he's going to have a good future. You know, you've made an investment. You've described him as a Rolls Royce as a centre-half, and you've just peed about with his development. He needs to be here next season. He needs to play. He needs to be thrown in at the deep end. If we're going to sign a centre-half, you know, and they're gonna be 23 and whatnot, there's no point paying 50 million. But for what it's worth, I'm all for the Ben White signing. But it's not gonna happen, is it? Unless you put down the cash, people. What are you lot's opinions in relation to that? We're gonna get into Locatelli in a second, but let me see what you guys are saying. And with that, I can actually delete this whole paragraph and make it a bit more pleasing for me to actually see the timestamps, people. So yeah. Appreciate that. There's 208 of you locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button and you're here for the watch along at live from 1:30. What have we said? What have we got here? Very unhappy with the Saliba situation. Basuma ain't even worth 50 million. Okay. 50 million for Ben White. You really deluded. J. Cole. That's what your mother says. But at the same time, this is what the article is saying. Please learn how to read before coming in talking nonsense, because it's upsetting. You know, I don't. Your mom is frying planting for me. I don't want to go and tap the arse, so please allow me. Is Mavropanos coming back to the club? Apparently, he's a great talent. I don't know, but I'd imagine at least temporarily he would arrive back to the club to sort out his future. Personally, I don't think he set the world alight. I do think at times, and the games, I'm really looking to see if there's a development there. I don't think I've been impressed with Mavropanos, but he's had a confident loan spell. He has been one of the better loan performers. On the basis of that, I think he deserves the opportunity to at least show Arteta in pre-season what I can or can't do. Personally, I think he will head out on loan again, maybe be moved on permanently, because again, if you're bringing in Saliba and Gabriel and they're at the same stages as Mavropanos, they should be playing more. If you was to suddenly bring in Ben White, then there's no point for Mavropanos. I think what will go against Mavropanos is, I think out of them centre-halves, he's probably got the least ability on the ball. Now, I'm of the old school sort of thing in that I only care if you can defend. All the passing stuff is a bonus, innit? I know it's the modern day, but we're in a day and age where certain keepers cannot catch, but they can ball play. It's dead. But at the same time, we need to be able to play out from the back. As a centre half, your ability to play out from the back is going to affect if Arteta is going to play you. And I don't think he's able to play. I don't think he's better on the ball as a centre half as Marie. I don't think he's better than Chambers. I don't think he's better than Holding. Clearly, I don't think he's better than Gabriel or Saliba. I'm probably missing out a name, so he's probably struggling in that regard. So it might be one of them. Ben White is better than Holding, in my opinion. He's clear of Holding. Of course he is. Ben White is not deluded, not a dominant centre back. He was busy playing centre defensive mid for Brighton. Will get pulled out wide and get killed. Personally, it's no cause of the alleged price tag. We have centre backs to grow, so bringing somebody who's ready to play at the top level. Facts. I feel the England premium tax applies to everybody apart from Arsenal. How is he 50 million? Ainsley Maitland-Niles is 20. Has White achieved more? No, he hasn't, but he's at least had a solid body of work at Leeds. Ainsley Maitland-Niles has never had a real run in the team like that. He's had patches of brilliance and periods where he's been in the team, but he's never been that. But Arsenal are rubbish hustlers. I defo don't mind more Englishman in defense. I'm all on Ben White because he could grow with the squad. He could do a thing. The problem for me is you're gonna have Ben White, Gabriel Saliba now. They're all young. You know, you look at Brighton, yeah, Ben White's got quality, but he looks around, you can see a Webster, you can see who's the centre-half that typically, Dan Burn, you know, the left-back, typically centre-half who plays left-back, you've got Duffy, you've got experienced man, you know, don't look at the team, look at the context. When things are going wrong at Arsenal and Gabriel looking a bit clueless, Saliba's looking a bit clueless, Ben White's looking a bit clueless, I think the adaptability is the main reason we're being linked with Ben White, because I can see Arteta saying, you know what, we need a centre half and a right back. 2 birds, 1 stone. That one's there is done. It's a bit like the Tyler Adams thing. It's like we're looking like I don't mind looking for multifunctional players, but they need to have a primary objective. It's like, you know, everyone talks about the Cancelo example. He's a fullback that goes into midfield. You know, at Arsenal, the lines are blurred. We've got people who we could do that with, but are they a centre mid or are they a fullback? The lines are blurred, you know. You need to certify what you're about and then do the freedom within the framework, because again, you don't want too many jack of all trades, masters of none, and it's a very thin line between the two. But I like it, man. White is already better than Maguire. I'm concerned that we ain't got no solid links. For example, why ain't Basuma agreed personal term situation? To be fair, I'm not saying we're going to sign him. I'm not saying you shouldn't have concerns, but we don't know what's going on in it. Like, we don't know what's going on in the background. So I wouldn't get into concerns with that. Another day of Arsenal being linked with players they realistically won't sign. Praying for you Arsenal fans must be tough. We should be getting Basuma first, to be honest. We have 800 million budget. Apparently, that's why we're thinking about Ben White. Good bit of sarcasm. I don't believe these Ben White links. I think we want him because we've been linked with him for a minute. It's like when we was linked with Ben Chilwell when he first bust through at Leicester. There is clearly some want, but arguably, you know, you have to buy Ben White when he's on loan at Newport and see what he's gonna be. You know, I don't mind him. You know, I can say the Premier League proven and knows the league and all of those sort of things, but I don't care about that. I just like Ben White. But when I move away from that, I just think we should be signing somebody that don't necessarily have to cost that much, but somebody is better. And I just think the players we're being linked with are quite lazy, with the exception of Lokonga, and we ain't been linked with Sarr of Metz, but I don't mind players from anywhere, but it's like they're just lazy links. You never get the vibe that it's a scouting thing and whatnot. You reckon? Obviously, Europe would be a factor, but I think Villarreal are more likely to sell than Brighton, in my opinion. Morning, DG. I think Holding or Chambers positions will be under threat if White comes in. People forget Holding was on his way to Newcastle before we stopped it due to injuries at centre-back. To be fair, he took his chances, but yeah, they should be. You know, Chambers has got a year left with the option of extending it. Are we going to extend it? Because if you've got Ben White, suddenly you don't need that, or are we making it clear certain man of squad players? Something needs to be done. Please stop spamming. You know, a man said you like Ben White. Fair play. Yes, I mean, I've kind of just answered that. You know, a bit lazy question, but fair play. Pet peeve of mine. Go get Eric Dyer. What? Yeah, please stop spamming. You know, please stop spamming. You should get Rodrigo de Paul for the number 10, bro. Fair play. We have bigger issues than centre back. Why are we linked to 1 for 50 million when we have Saliba coming back? Arteta's a clown. To be fair, I personally think centre half is as big of an issue as centre mid and right back, because that's all the spine of the team for me. Far-fetched shouts, but I'm a fan of Lascelles from Newcastle and Pinnock. I don't quite think they're at the level. I like Lascelles' leadership ability. He'll fall quite short. I do think Pinnock's a good centre-half, and he's done well to be a professional footballer and get promoted with Brentford, but he's got a lot of rough patches in his game that I think are going to be extremely exploited in the Premier League for Brentford next season. Morning's been calm, man. We know Paul Torres has won the Europa League. We know he's in the Spanish team. We know Arsenal have no Champions Leagues, but it's been done before. Ultimately, money talks, BS walks. So once again, Conte bought. Paul Torres isn't coming, but I do think if you slap 50 million to Villarreal and you slap 50 million to Ben White, you're more likely to get Paul Torres. Please don't shoot me for an opinion. Why are we even trying for a centre back? Do we really need one? I don't think so. Well, again, I'd argue we do, and I'd argue this is the season to get it right because arguably we've got quantity and no quality because we're always crying about one. Ben White is a luxury transfer, not an essential transfer. Hit the like button if you rate DG and hate Kron KT. Agree with that. I don't think a centre half could be described as a luxury signing, personally. Please stop spamming. Spamming is not going to get your thing red. You're just going to get absolutely kicked out. Our first signing should have been Campos. To me, would have showed me we are serious about building a project and have the right architect in place. Richard, I agree in principle, but it doesn't matter who we bring in until everyone sings on the same hymn sheet because one man can't change this. You know, you brought in Mislintat, and what was he allowed to do, man? DG, one of your mods booted me. What the hell? I don't know, man. You must have been annoying someone. Don't annoy people in it. Like, I like Ben White a lot, but if we can go all out for 40, 50 million on Ben White, that could mean we are going big this summer on signings, probably getting my hopes up for nothing. I'm on a wait and see thing, man. I don't know what happened, bro. I don't know. Moderators, keep it in check, man. Another mid-table finish next season. Hey, man, let's just speak about the Euros and transfers. Wait, let's deal with the disappointment when it comes, man. You know, I look young anyways, but I'm feeling a bit more younger now that the season's been done, really. 304 of you locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. And I want to see all of you at the Wales versus Switzerland live watch-along I'll be doing in a couple hours. I've dropped the link in the live chat, and it's also in the pinned message. So if you go to the live chat, you'll see that, man. Good opinions coming, though. Good opinions, man. Dunk is more established. Experience would prefer him as that experienced guy we need at the back. Long term, I'd go with Ben White because I think he would grow and become better, and in time, fans would see it. But right now, I think, yeah, that's that. Like I said, you know, you give Gabriel and Saliba the scope to grow, and then you know this experienced man can be pulled in. But I don't know if Dunk's good enough on the ball for Arteta or he's glamorous enough. I don't know. Take money out of the equation, who would you bid for? If money wasn't a thing, then Arsenal could go for Mbappe and all them, man. Like, money can't be taken out the occasion where you're an Arsenal fan still. Tomori seems to be going AC Milan, but I'd be on that. Don't know how Tomori isn't in the England squad. Maybe Gareth Southgate doesn't watch Serie A. Maybe he just calls up people he needs, man. We got to help players we have develop and stop wasting our money. Do you agree, DG? I mean, Patrick, obviously, you know, I've been saying it, you know, you need to show, Arteta needs to show me how you're going to make Smith Rowe that long-term number 10 and number 8, how you're going to take Gabriel to the next level, Saliba to the next level, even Bukayo Saka, we're going to get to a point and say, how are you going to take him to the next level? How are you going to take Pepe to the next level? How are you going to make Martinelli and Balogun level strikers? How are you going to develop Joe Willock? Of course, you know, if this guy's assuming these guys stay, you know, because it just feels like if we were farmers, we plant a tree, the tree half grows, and then we plant another tree, the tree half grows, then we water that one, water this one, move this one in front of the sun, that one in the sun, then they're just growing slowly, growing inconsistently. Where some other clubs, they'll allocate properly. They'll have 3 plants, Gabriel, Saliba, let's say Martinelli, and they'll dedicate people like, oh, I can't be everywhere at once. You, man, you water that, and we stay in dialogue. You know, it's all like we can talk about wanting to develop and as much as we want, develop players as much as we want, but it's going to be tough. And for fans, I don't think fans could be pleased. These same fans that are crying for Balogun, Saliba, all of this, they did it with Nelson and they did it with Saka and they did it with Joe. fans live game to game. They fail to understand if you want Balogun to be a 20 league goal striker, bro, he's gonna have 10 or even more games initially where he does F all in the league. You know, you want Saliba to be a great centre half, he's gonna have some clangers, as is Gabriel. It's like fans don't understand this. So I think fans could do the club could do a bit more in terms of development, and fans need to have a bit more of an open eye with it, because I think fans will cry. Many people are not gonna care about Balogun's development if he misses a chance at one end, the other team counter attack and they win the game, or Saliba misses, or Gabriel misses a header, the other team counter attack and score. This is real life. This is what's going to happen. This is the stage they're at. You know, you can't say you want these guys to develop and not expect that. You know, when you lot have achieved anything in life, when does it come easy? When does it come without adversity? When does it come without hardship? You know, as a centre half, there's certain things you have to learn. You know, if you take Saliba, I can already tell you his heading is going to get him in problems unless he develops that. And he hasn't learned the ability to watch the ball and the man. Sometimes he watches the ball too much. Sometimes he watches the man. That's no criticism. He's a young man. That's what's going to happen. I like how he's very confident bringing it out from the back. But there's been many times for Nice and St. Etienne, I've seen him do that, be dispossessed, and he's in no man's land. Equally, I've seen him have a lot of great games where he showed good reading, good leadership. He's got the base level of ingredients. It's about realizing that. And that's a pet peeve for me at Arsenal, in that in recent years, obviously the Gnabry's, all of them, man, you're seeing our fruits develop elsewhere. And the fruits we have, we don't really develop them. Like for years, not that I don't rate Wilshere, but we persisted. What specifically is Wilshere? What is Ramsey? You know, I'm missing one out. Is Oxlade actually? Remember when Oxlade bust out? We were talking about, are you now a right back? And for years we was doing, are you a winger? Now you're a centre mid, and all of these things. Theo Walcott, you're a striker. Now you're a winger. This and that. I want to see a bit more in terms of development, in my humble opinion. But yeah, man. And I think fans just need to recognize that you can't say you want a young squad and a rejuvenated squad and not be prepared for that. And Arteta needs to have the bravery for that, because last season, a lot of things we're calling for to do now, I think he could have done it last season, especially at least with the building blocks. Because if we finish 8th, but you could see, all right, cool, Gabriel and Saliba are playing, Tierney's doing his thing at left back, you've brought in a right back, there's no speculation over the centre half, over the keeper, you can see what we're doing in the midfield. If we could see a DNA, a building block, a way of playing, I'm not saying fans would be happy with 8th, but you could say, all right, cool. You know, I guess in theory, there'd be less question marks on Arteta, because we'd be like, all right, cool. The variables you control, you're getting the best out of them. All you can be judged for is what you're doing on the coaching front. You're doing what you need to do on the coaching front. Then we can be like Kroenke, this, that, and the other. Where now, obviously, there's a lot of problems that are out of Arteta's control. But we're sitting there like, you know, tactically, I'm not seeing what you're on. You're not really developing players, evidently, for me to see in this first season. And we've obviously got the mismanagement above him and Edu and whatnot. And we've got the Kroenke. So again, this is what I mean. The variables Arteta needs to control. He ain't controlled them enough, man. So yeah, I want to see, this could be a timestamp, real style of play next season, man. Building blocks, we'll call it that. I haven't decided which one I want it to be. Good, interesting ones, man. Very simple. Kroenke out. That's our biggest problem. He made us hate Wenger, Emre. I don't hate Emre or definitely Sir Arsene Wenger. I don't hate them. You know, I definitely hate Stan, but I wouldn't say I hate either of their managers. You lot remember, I only gave up on. I had a lot of you lot used to get onto me. I had criticisms of Emre when we was winning those games and going unbeaten, not because I wanted to criticize him. I don't know about no one else, but I call things as I see it. I told you lot that I said it, and you lot killed me for it. It's a false image. We're gonna get into problems. I only gave up on Emre that week he got sacked, because it looked like evidently he's losing, man. And as much as Emre was a bit crazy about how he's doing things, Wenger the same and Arteta the same, all managers are. I never had to doubt his integrity or him wanting to do things. It's just the way he went about it. The same going for Wenger as well. So it is what it is. Please stop spamming, bro. I've answered that question and you're spamming, so you're getting blocked. There's a next blockage here happening. Holding needs to cut, nothing personal. AM, you love a holding agenda. Third best defense in the league with David Luiz, Chambers, Bellerin, Cedric, Gabriel, Marie, Tierney holding last season. Arteta got the improvement in a mad condition. He did. But I would say to that, while that shows there's a building block, That's only reflected in clean sheets. Failure to hold on to leads, minutes conceded in the last 15 minutes, minutes conceded at half time, before half time, errors leading to goals. All of these things which show you a metric in defense, it shows you that, if we go on the defense, we've got the third best in the league. So we've got a better defense than Liverpool and up there with Liverpool and City. If you go on the league in terms of the attack, we're ninth. I'm sure you can have all your criticisms and call Aubameyang finish, Lacazette this, Pepe that. It shouldn't be ninth, because them players, they might not be the best, but no one wants to play against them. People that understand football, if you're a defender, you do not want to play against Lacazette and Aubameyang. If you're a fullback, you don't want to play against Pepe, Saka, and Martinelli. I'm not saying they're the best. I'm simply saying they're a lot better to cause problems than what we have done. So he needs to get a bit more out of that. There's teams with less resources. So again, stats are subjective. It has shown Arteta is focused on defending. He's improved. We knew from last season when he took over, Arteta improved us defensively. There is a bit more steel, grit, and determination. And as I said, I think we're at a point now where he just needs more intelligent thinkers, because I do think he overcompensates defensively because he don't trust these lot going forward. But that's transpired into where we have this paradox in that you can't just defend. You need to offer something else. And, it's been beneficial to us in the top 6 games. You look at the Chelsea games where we're capitalizing on mistakes and things like that. But our problem was the playing against low blocks and all of those sort of things. And I just think, listen, I think we need a lot in attack, but at the same time, I think they can be fixed on the coaching front. And I think the lack of goals at this football club is down to Arteta's coaching or lack of. Again, players have to take responsibility for not having a great season, but there can't be a coincidence that not a single attacking player at Arsenal has excelled the whole season. Saka's my player of the year, but how many times did he need a rest, but we couldn't afford him to, Aubameyang and Lacazette, Lacazette's had the best season ever. Aubameyang's had the worst season ever. Lacazette scored 3 more than him in the league or something. So again, both players need to take responsibility. Aubameyang's been woeful. It's another season where Lacazette's been so amazing and doesn't have 20 league goals. You can only be so good in my book with that, but that's also, there's something for Arsenal. We do not need to change our defense. We simply didn't score enough goals. We conceded third less in the league. Well, I do think we need to improve our defense because the errors leading to goals, the sort of goals we are conceding, the sort of switching off, that suggests, do you believe in your heart, no centre half? Do you think with them defenders and just no centre half, just centre mids and what you lot are saying that we're getting top 4? You're not getting it with that defense. And Arteta knows it. That's why we're linked with a defender. We full-heartedly do. Full-heartedly do need a centre half. I'm sorry, but it's evident. That's the sort of trail of thought that would probably say we're probably the best team post 2020. Because of that half-season table. We do need a centre-back. Having 8 centre-backs isn't a good excuse. We need quality. In saying that, 50 mil is definitely needed elsewhere if we're counting our pennies again this year. Comment of the morning goes to Darren. Facts. What else he looks here, man? Why is everyone is not behind Holding our defense? I mean, because I support the whole team. I like Holding. All I've done is defend Holding, but I'm not gonna give anybody a pat in the back for being third less goals, because I think every team could probably find some statistics that flatter them. I don't believe in. I would like to see Gabriel and Saliba do the thing. I don't really believe in a lot of what's going on. A lot of our centre halves just go through good periods of form. We're at 164 likes, people. It's good, but it could be better. Please get that to 200 and 300 and beyond that, man. How high should Arsenal aim when it comes to the new number 10? Because I fear we might get a man that's too wavy and we might never see Saka, Smith Rowe played as a 10 ever again. Well, ideally, you'd like to see Bukayo Saka played on the flanks, and Smith Rowe will get game time. He can play as an 8 long-term and a 10. And I know you're not saying this, Mohammed, but I do think fans need to get real in that. You need to remember this is real life. This is a job. While I advocate, I'm not saying Smith Rowe shouldn't get game time. I don't think we shouldn't not bring in a winger. I mean, not a winger, a creative man, because Smith Rowe's there. You need competition, Mason Mount, look at Chelsea. Chelsea obviously care about their homegrown talent, but you're not there because you're homegrown. You're there because we think you as part of this squad can help us. Prove it. It's real life. And a lot of people who say that, they were saying, oh, don't bring in Odegaard because Smith Rowe's there. When both are injured, what happens then? When one was injured, what happens then? When one is not quite at it. I'm not saying you, Mohammed, so I don't think I'm attacking you, but many fans fail to understand that it's a squad game these days. They don't understand it. And that's a big, big, big problem in my humble opinion. What else you look saying? Bro, Smith Rowe is class, bro. Classy player. DG, I'd love to know your free ins and outs this summer. Well, in terms of incomings, I could sit here and say Basuma, DePaul, you know, this guy, that guy. In terms of outs, people who I would like to see the back of Bellerin. Granit Xhaka, probably Leno, Torreira. People who don't really want to be here, man. Listen, if you listen to my content, there's plenty of players I rate time, and I rate plenty of players coming through our academy, man. How do we know when a link is player? How do we know when a link is real, bro? I don't know until you see the main journalist speaking about it, man. We miss Luiz's leadership 100%. You're gonna miss Xhaka's leadership as well. And again, we all know if we're saying this about David Luiz and Xhaka, give them their praise. But again, it tells you where your football club kind of is. If we're looking at them, it's a madness. Exactly, love. Exactly, bro. Good defense, cause we're not attacking, brother. It's a madness. There's a huge lack of creativity in the team. No attacking build-up play. No killer passes through the lines except Smith Rowe. And this is it. We're going to sign the next creative man unless we do something on the sporting front and say, oh, you're a cam. Go out there and work your magic. When they're just going to drop deep time and time and time again, where we need creativity from everywhere. We need a 10 or whatever. I would like some more adventurous centre mids to go with a 10 because suddenly people can drop deep if they need to, but they can stay higher up the field. We need a few players who can pass the ball. If I'm not creative, man, don't need to be not everybody in it's tough to say, but not everyone in the City team's creative, you know. Some man can just pass the ball forward and can do things in less touches. At Arsenal, we have this thing where we have players who are cowardly and will play it backwards and sideways. The one couple players, I'm speaking in the middle of the park, that can play things that can be done in 2 touches, they're taking 10. This is the problem we're at, man. Do you think if the likes of Ozil, Mustafi, Socrates, and Kolasinac went in the summer, our first half of the season wouldn't have been so poor? As after they left, we drastically improved. I wouldn't say drastically. I don't know. Maybe there would have been less clarity. There might have been more resources. But who was really a major player? Kolasinac was marginalized. Ozil played initially and then it was marginalized. Mustafi, Arteta was playing him and pulled him in from the win and played him at a cost of Saliba. I don't know. I think it would have forced the club to make decisions a bit quicker. It should have been done, and for me, it would have been good for the fans because it's less talking points, less talking about things that is irrelevant to the football. Like there was too many love dramas there. DG summed up Xhaka there. It's a bit harsh. Arsenal not going to sign anybody until after the Euros. And that's the point, you know, that's the point, Elite. You know, we're talking about Xhaka and Luiz as leaders and they've got mistakes to goals and yellow cards and reds. To be fair, them statistics don't mean you can't be a leader, but that's the point. We're calling them leaders. We're saying they need to be in the team and there's problems. That's the point. We've built our house on the sand. No worries, my guy, man. I do think Odegaard needs better players around him through the gaps that needs fill. For Odegaard to see the best out of Smith Rowe or a next level of Smith Rowe, you need to sort out the pivot because they're having to overcompensate. Suddenly, they can't stay in that final third. They're having to drop deep because obviously the ball's not getting up there to them. You see these things, man. You see these things. What happened to Ruben Neves? Not a clue, but the links have died down. Maybe that means something is going to happen. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Already offered my opinions. You have the Wales watch along set for tomorrow, my guy. I don't know how many times I need to keep plugging it. It's not tomorrow, it's today. And there you have it, live from 1:30. I don't think stats should be used to gauge leadership. They can't. They can't. They literally can't. And there's many different ways of leading. You can lead by example. You can lead by just keeping yourself in check. You can be a silent leader. You could be someone that you're very peaceful, but you raise it up. And then obviously England, we're used to the shouting, blood and guts, flying into a million tackles sort of passion thing. So yeah, obviously link is dropped. There you see it. Wales versus Switzerland. People, hit the like button. You lot are doing me dirty. There's only 9 likes there, including mine. It's quite sad. Obviously, again, Russia versus Belgium at 8 p.m. Link has been set. Tomorrow's England. There's a next game tomorrow as well that I'll be doing a watch along. I think it's the 8 p.m. one. So we'll be there for that one as well. So make sure you're showing that one there some love. There's 400 of you locked in. Please make sure the likes are respectable. Shout to the members, subscribers, moderators, and the Twitch gang and all of those sort of things, people. We're at what? Oh, we're at 204 now, people. Keep pushing. Let's go to 300, people. I rate you lot for that. Let me do a little clap for you guys, man. What do you think will happen with Balogun this coming season? We'll have to wait his turn, be on the bench, might become a bit frustrated. You know, if we're not going to give him proper game time and we haven't told him, yo, right now you're the third choice striker or whatever, let the man go out on loan. Admittedly, you know, sort out what you're doing with Lacazette and Aubameyang or one of the two. After that, I would want to put all my eggs in the Martinelli up front basket, but I think Balogun should be in and around the team. But he needs to play significantly next season. And what I mean by that is be exposed to a situation he feels uncomfortable. Stop doing up 23s. You know, I was going to say he's a god amongst men, but I don't want to be blasphemous and things like that. But, you know, 23s, you get to this level where it's too easy for you. You need to step up and do other things to where you kind of start again from zero, you know. And again, as I do rate Balogun. I think Balogun's going to go far. I just feel a lot of conclusions and a lot of things have been drawn on a man you ain't seen play 10 games. Yes, he scored in the Europa League and I rate him, but let's be real, it's Dundalk. You know, a couple of these young players will bagging that. But I think, you know, you don't know how good someone is until you're given chances. But we need to be patient. I think he will come good. I think Balogun will be a good player. But again, I need to see a plan for him. I don't want him just wasting away for no point in the season. Like, there needs to be a plan. And like I said, there's 40 games. There's Lacazette and Aubameyang on paper. For me, if I'm Arteta, Martinelli's playing up front before Balogun. There's 40 games on paper, 38 in the league, and we should be having more consistency in the league for several reasons. Should he go out on loan? I don't know. I'll leave that to you lot to decide, people, really and truly. But on that note, we've got some other transfer stuff to be dealing with and getting into, people. So let's look at Locatelli rumours very quickly as well, because while I enjoy your comments, I'm very cautious of not doing what I told you lot we're here for. I'm sure you all watched him yesterday. I wouldn't say he played amazing yesterday. I mean, some criticisms could be, you know, is his athleticism. I do like him, though. He can drive with a ball. He can play football. He's very cultured. But maybe his athleticism is the only thing. You know, takes a bit slow to turn around, isn't the quickest, but he's a baller. And I think you've seen it if you're watching Serie A and have watched his performances for Sassuolo. You will see it for Italy. Arsenal have no chance of getting Locatelli or Manuel Locatelli, in my opinion, purely because Juventus are onto them. Young Italian player, Juventus are onto you. You go to Juventus. It's as simple as that. And obviously, he's been linked with Man City, Juventus, Borussia Dortmund, who are in the Champions League, PSG. If Dortmund are in for it, then we have half a chance. But if PSG, Juventus, Man City, all these teams want you, forget about Arsenal. Arsenal have no chance. And for me, Solo are going to want a lot of money. But as you lot can see here, Arsenal are reportedly weighing up a transfer move for Manuel Locatelli and will be watching over the midfielders' performances for Italy at the European Championships. Locatelli, De Paul, you know, Ben White, we're spending a bag in it, people. Locatelli had a good season last year. Locatelli had an outstanding domestic season to help Sassuolo to an 8th place finish in Serie A. And obviously, he's been called up for this summer's Euros tournament. I've just said the teams he's been linked with. Let me zoom in a bit. According to Sky Sports Italy, the Gunners will be keeping a close eye on Locatelli as he prepares to kick off. Well, this was obviously yesterday when he was going to play against Turkey, where they've obviously won 3-0, people. Whilst Sassuolo are reluctant to part with such a key player, both on the pitch and in the dressing room, The report where it's come out claims an offer of around 40 million euros. So that's about 34 could convince them to do business before the transfer window closes. When I look at the price tag, it's doable, people. But we probably need to sell before we can go. If I'm Locatelli, I don't really want to deal with my future midway through a tournament. Like, we've just won 3-0. My focus is now Switzerland on Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever it is. I don't want to be dealing with Juventus, Arsenal, whatever. My agents can do it, but in terms of medicals, actual talks, I want to deal for this competition. And obviously, I don't think he's going to get mad plaudits off the Turkey game, but if he keeps on developing and plays well off the back of a good season, there's only going to be more interested parties. You know, the thing is, you look at Juventus, they look like they want to move on some midfielders. We need to move on some midfielders. City could just get him. Dortmund, it seems like they're dealing with the future of Jadon Sancho first. It is what it is. Apparently, Arsenal are set to lose midfielders Lucas Torreira and Guendouzi this season, and Martin Odegaard appears unlikely to return after an eye-catching loan spell in North London. Joe Willock could also be set for an exit at the Emirates as Newcastle explore a possible permanent deal for the youngster. So, yeah, man, Locatelli's been doing his thing, people. Earlier this week, Locatelli admitted he may have a tough decision to make on his future once the Euros is over. It is just gossip. There's such an important competition to play, and I'm focused on that. It's normal to have rumors about the transfer market, but I will not let myself be influenced by them. And that's right. You know, he might see Arsenal and say, oh, you know, I'm linked with Arsenal. I need to start playing better. Or when he's linked with Arsenal, he might get gassed, or which I can't see. Or he might be linked with City and he's thinking, you know what, I'm moving to City. These things will make you drop off. He just needs to deal with his future. 34 million pounds. Surely even a broke team like Arsenal can make that happen, but I can't see it happening, people. I can't sit here and lie to you and say I do see it happening. I don't, but I would like to be pleasantly surprised, people. Unless you got Football Manager, I can't see it happening, people. So that one there is going to have to be left at that. So that's Locatelli for what it's worth, folks. So yeah, we've done Ben White. Oh, here I go messing up the timestamps again. Sorry, folks. I'm going to get in. What are you lot saying? I'm going to get into your comments in a sec. Just trying to make sure this all makes sense. We're going to get into Ben Ryan and obviously Kieran Tierney in a hot second, people. I would prefer players not on loan, more dedication to the club. Fair play. Hey, guys, stop saying bad words. Yeah, man, stop swearing if you're swearing. Arsenal need to spend 200 million to improve the squad. Buy correctly for whatever price tag, man. The one thing with central midfielders, a lot of good ones are underrated because of the nature of position, so we'd expect to get the under-the-radar ones. What's your opinion on Isak? Would you be happy for him to come in and lock it out? 100%. DG, I think signing Ben White is a waste of resources. DG, what do you think about Nelson? Bro, I want to keep Nelson. I want Nelson to play badly. I have sly hope that Willian going means Nelson can get game time. But for me, if I'm him, I'm pushing to leave permanently or I'm pushing to go out on loan. Yeah, you know, December when he got injured, I think he would have made some real progress. Or maybe if he didn't get injured, a team would have taken a chance, but didn't go out on loan. Only 70-odd minutes in the Premier League. Minutes are currency. Your account is in minus, isn't it? And he's at one of them ages you need to play. Are you going to play is another thing? I don't know. It's about profile, not position. I think it's about both, man. Still. Personally. I think Arsenal fans struggle to understand when you get these cultured sort of midfielders who are not going to get mad goals, mad assists, be mad dynamic, do mad blockbuster stuff. Appreciate all the comments, man. Some interesting comments. We put a bid in for Carrera of Lazio. We spoke about that yesterday, if it is true. DG, what's your opinion on the importance and current attitudes towards the regista role, i.e. Jorginho, Xhaka, Rodri, Thiago get a lot of criticism due to the pace of the Premier League? I think Xhaka gets a lot of criticism because of who he is. Pardon me, Rodri's not as good as I thought, but still quality. And Jorginho, I think he's really underappreciated. But, you know, them sort of man, it's more of a European cultured thing because I just spoke about that. They're not the midfielders who are going to do, well, Thiago's a baller technically. Xhaka, when he does scores some fantastic strikes, but they're not the guys that are going to get mad goals, mad assists. They're very cultured. For them to work, the team needs to be built around them, and the team needs to, you know, they need to be good enough to build the team around or somewhat where one out of them three names isn't, in my opinion. I don't think fans take to them in England because they're not that. You know, Spurs are a decent team still, man. Locatelli is saucy, very much, man. DG, do you think Arteta has the right clout and appeal makes players want to join and play for him? Probably not those higher elite players, but when I look at Aubameyang and Saka signing new deals, the way Partey spoke, you know, the way Ceballos and Tierney actually speak, there has to be something, but I don't know, man. Well, look, I would as well, but if selling him means we can sign some players that can help us right now, I'd be all for it. You're right. Ward-Prowse is a fantastic option. Should we look at the latest in relation to as you can see here, Tyler Adams and Matt Ryan. What have we got here? Nope, that's Locatelli. What's this? I'm sure you've also, I'm not going over that, but Gabriel was doing the touch your head if we're getting Basuma, wink if you're getting Basuma and all of that. I'm not into all of that stuff here, man. But, you know, to go over Tyler Adams again, people, we all know he's drawing interest, the RB Leipzig, man. He's just seen his, what the hell is this? This is horrible. We all know he's just seen his former coach for America join him. Apparently, in theory, leaving RB Leipzig should not even be a consideration for Tyler Adams this summer. It was only in March that he agreed a new contract tying him until 2025. Next season, he'll be reunited with Jesse March, the man who gave him his professional debut at New York Red Bulls. Skipping forward, people, shout out to him for what he's doing. You know, he featured in 27 of their 34 games, people. He has had some injury issues and things. He's drawn, the 22-year-old's drawn interest. Apparently, though RB Leipzig would loathe to lose Adams, they may not be anything. They may not be able to do anything about it. Sources have indicated to CBS Sports that the American does have a release clause in his contract, which could be activated this summer. Skipping forward, for the Gunners in particular, the appeal of Adams' versatility, the appeal of Adams lies in his versatility. In his 66 games for Leipzig, the New Yorker has predominantly been deployed as one of the two defensive midfielders, but for Arsenal, he would be more frequently used as a right back. And for us, that's great, but what about the man? Does he put, you know, I'm sure he will do anything the manager wants, but footballers are allowed to have their own positions. Does he say I'm a midfielder, but I'll play right back if I'm required? You're not going to want to come here and play right back all the time, or you might get to a point where we're going through the Maitland-Niles thing. It is what it is, people. So there's apparently a release clause, and we know he's got versatility, but in relation to how much the release clause is, we haven't learned a damn thing. As you lot know here, people, Matt Ryan, 1 minute he's linked with returning to Arsenal. Apparently, the new Celtic boss is looking at bringing him to Celtic. And to be fair, Matt Ryan, you could be number one. You know, you're joining a big club in Celtic. You know, I'm sure they want to take the title off Rangers. You may or may not pick up a Scottish title. Arsenal might not be able to give you that, people. Apparently, I'm not going to say the paper, but anyways, this newspaper understands he's being considered for a move to Scotland, but Arsenal haven't given up hope of taking the player back to London. The 60-cap keeper moved to the Emirates on loan in January, but only made 3 appearances as understudy to Leno. And as you lot know, he's the current Celtic gaffer's got history of Ryan because he picked Ryan for the 2014 World Cup and he maintained his position for the Aussies Asian Cup triumph the following year, people. So it is what it is, people. We'll have to see. We really will have to see. Hopefully we can get our man, because I'd be all for him actually returning to the club. I think he's a cool backup choice. So that's that. Let's get into Kieran Tierney's contract, people. Apparently, it's not a new thing. It's not anywhere near being done, but it's nice to see Kieran Tierney's allegedly being offered a contract. He's the future captain of this football club, and he's one of the building blocks we should be building around, people. Arsenal defender set to be rewarded with a new contract after impressing Mikel Arteta. Arsenal have opened talks with Kieran Tierney over a new contract extension. The 24-year-old made 27 Premier League appearances for Arsenal last season, as Mikel Arteta's side finished 8th in the league. Apparently, Arteta said, I think he can be Arsenal captain. He has the respect and admiration for every member of staff and every player. Facts. But, while I agree with that, where's the facts, people? Apparently, Football.London understands that Arsenal are also in the market for a backup left back this summer, with the club keen on signing a younger profile player. Meanwhile, the Gunners are confident that Emil Smith Rowe, that is, will commit to a new contract. Contrary to recent media reports, however, the England youngster is not close to signing an extension. Smith Rowe has 2 years remaining on his contract, and his extension is seen as one of the priorities for the executive team this summer, with talks already underway. The Croydon-born youngster is seen as part of the Gunners' British core alongside Kieran Tierney and Bukayo Saka. Head of football operations Richard Garlick is leading contract negotiations for all first-team players, and the former Premier League director of football will be tasked with the same briefing for all new signings. So, baptism of fire for our new recruit, people. So it is what it is in that regards. Hopefully, there's some info in that, man. Hopefully it happens. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Check out DG merch. Again, it's summertime. Get your water bottles even, people. Also, again, hit the like button of this video. Please make sure you're here for the watch alongs and other content, people. I love having these conversations with you. So I'd love to hope you're all there. Links are dropping. Links are all in the live chat, but links are all being dropped once again because you lot are lazy. Some of you can't even press a damn like button. Anyone who doesn't hit that like button, you're going to be hit with an unexpected bill. DG, do you think that Premier League will let players continue to take the knee next season? Well, if I'm a player, whether they let me or not, I'm still kneeling, but they should. Would you want someone like Telemans? Of course. Who wouldn't want Telemans? What else you lot saying, people? Fekir, a good option. Locatelli is ready to move after the Euros as well. Arsenal fans need to get their mentality up to scratch. No clue what that you're directly referring to, but it is what it is. What else have we got? I would love Sabitzer at this club, man. Aye, G1, you're a real one, man. When did you start supporting Arsenal? All my life, man. As long as I can remember, it's always been an Arsenal thing, my dude. But yeah, I can't lie, people. It's a busy day today. We've been here an hour. I'm going to have to lock this up because I'm going to have to eat, get ready, do a couple of things before I meet you lot again at 1:30 UK time. So please make sure you're here for that. But for now, I'm going to have to love and leave you. It's been fantastic speaking, but I'm going to have to get out of here. Please make sure you've hit that like button if you haven't already, and I'll see you lot all in a couple of hours. So yeah, hit the like button, really. It's a shame, but I'm going to have to keep it moving, people. Love, my guys. You lot make me don't start doing that. You lot make me feel so guilty for cutting out and busting out sometimes, people. We're at 261 likes though. Let's keep pushing that to 300 for those of you that are just tuning in. So yeah, man, I'll catch you lot later. Big up K for making sure he's going to be at the next live stream. If you're not going to be there, hit the like button, people. Do what you can for the engagement levels. I'm out.